How many shares of ticker QDTE do I have to hold to be able to retire? That is the question for today's video. We all know that income investors eventually want to retire and have our income investing pay for our lifestyles. So that's the calculation that I'm going to run today, as well as look at a couple other factors with QDTE that are going to impact how much it pays out in retirement and how much you need to be able to live off of it. If you're interested in high yield investing, in dividend investing, in income investing, you are in the right place. Don't forget to like the video and to subscribe so I know to make more content just like this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's roll the intro. I want to start out by saying, yes, QDTE is beaten up. It's down almost 19% in the last year alone, which is not what you want for an income-focused fund. Yes, we've received quite a few nice dividends, but still, there's a part of me that really, it pains me to see this dropping so heavily. Now, we know that it was more recent, especially with this last little drop here, that really put it over the edge, but it has been kind of downtrending for quite a while, which is what we need to factor in when we're looking at these funds for retirement. Because if you're going to have NAV erosion and the same dividends over time, it's going to be hard to maintain your income. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the drip calculator for QDTE. I've pulled it up a couple times on the video, but it's a really, really important metric when we're looking at what we can use to retire. Using dividendchannel.com's drip calculator, we have QDTE plugged in. And so what this does is it invests 10K at the inception of the fund. So QDTE has always been a weekly payer, and we can see it actually, the total return is about 15%. That's with drip on. With drip off, total return is about 13.11%. Now it has come down quite a bit, pretty steeply, we can see right here on both charts because of the price drop. But what we're going to do with our calculation, we're going to put in with drip off. So our total return being about a 13% yield, which is really, really important. Next, we're going to look at how much money we actually need to live off of based on the average American income. So I pulled up Motley Fool Money, and let's see what people make in the US. This is kind of comparing our salaries to the average US income. There's a couple really important factors that I want to talk about here. So we can see the average US household income in 2023 was $114,500, while the median household income was $80,610. Averages can be swayed heavily by those that are making multi-millions, maybe even billions of dollars every single year. And this number also changes drastically based on your state. I live in California, and so the average is about 65 to 70,000 a year, which is a lot higher than some of the other states because, well, it's expensive to live here. It's beautiful, but it's expensive. So we can see it's kind of cool seeing the percentage of households and what they make. And there's some really cool information. I've never really looked too far into this stuff because it usually would just make me depressed. But thinking about my investing journey and how we're all trying to make money and eventually all retire on this stuff, it is really cool to see. So we can see 47% of American households earn less than $75,000 per year, meaning if we can get to a point where our income is able to surpass even 70 to 75,000, we are doing better than 47% of Americans of the households specifically just from our passive income, even though we did have to earn the money initially. So it's really cool seeing this data. I'm going to use our number of about 75,000 here because I think it's a pretty fair metric. It's a little bit higher, I know, and it is per household, again, not per individual, and definitely on the higher end because of how things are swayed. So we're going to use that number to calculate it. If you have a different number, I recommend just plugging yours in the same way that I calculate this, and it'll kick out the exact answer for you. It's really, really cool. We're going to jump into that reinvestment calculator right now. I am both an optimist and a pessimist, and usually at the worst time for each. But I'm going to run two calculations in this scenario because we have our actual returned number for QDTE so far, which is with drip off 13.11% as an average annual return, or a total return from what we've seen. Next one is just going to be based off of the dividend yield, and say if QDTE were to trade at 37.81 indefinitely, how much money would you need to retire? And again, we're going to be using that 75,000 number as the median household income. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. I want to live off of more than $75,000. Everyone does, probably. I would say 99% of the population does, but this is kind of our base start. If you want to have more money than $75,000 every year in retirement, I admire you for, chase your dreams. You'll have to increase this number by, whatever factor you want to live off of by the number. That was a really confusing way of saying that, but you have to increase the amount of shares to equate to how much money you want to live off of. There we go. So one share gets us $4.96 in our initial our initial 1 year of payments, which is decent. 100 gets you 500. You can see where this is going. 1,000 gets you 5,000, but we're going to need more like 10,000 because we need 75,000. One important factor too that I really enjoy, we can see with $378,100 invested, you actually would get just under $50,000 in dividends, which is really impressive. It's really impressive how high this yield is. And I only say that not to hype up the weekly payers. I like them. You guys know that I like them. If you're trying to do this calculation with SCHD, Johnson & Johnson, with Coca-Cola, the numbers you need to retire are well into the multi-millions. Maybe not SCHD. I haven't done the calculation on that one for a while, but the other two, Johnson & Johnson, Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble, if they even pay a dividend, they pay out very little. Apple, they pay out very little. And the reasoning is they're not really a dividend fund. They're not a dividend focused company, and that's okay. It's a growth company. But if you're going to have $2 or $3 million in order to retire off of those returns, like what are we going to do? How are we going to get to that point? That's taking a lot of time. I mean, let's pull up the calculator. 26 years, higher, closer to 27. It's going to take you 27 years to save up the money that you need to retire. How are you supposed to live? Again, this is gross. This is gross in both ways. First of all, this is gross in the sense that you have, how are you going to live off of no income for 26, almost 27 years in order to get to that point? So that's why I like to run these calculations. That's why I like to talk about these higher yield income ETFs, because it's very fun. But let's kick this up. I think we can get really close. If we do 15,000 shares, what does that put us at? Just under 15,150. 15,150. There we go. $96 over. Sweet spot. Ending balance, $572,821.50 will get us $75,096.90 our first year and every year thereafter, because we're not dripping. We're just going to continue to. This is impressive. This is really, really impressive what this fund can do at the lower end. Again, mind you, our next calculation is going to be a little bit in the stars, but it's fun to see what it can do. But all in all, if you think about this, how long do we need? Let's run the calculation for this one. If we had we'll round up even, $573,000 divided by our 75,000 number, 7.6 years. So you're shaving off 20 years of time. You're okay with the risk that comes with these ETFs, which some of us don't have the option. Like, let's be honest, some of us aren't going to be able to work for 27 years and put all of our income into a fund to be able to retire, which, I mean, I would guess that's most of us, unless you guys might have a trust fund or something that I don't have. But either way, it's tough. It's tough for the average individual. And with the median household being 75,000, it's nearly impossible. And there's other options as well. There's pension plans, there's 401ks, maybe it's separate. There are other options, but this really gives people the power to retire and control their own, I don't want to say destiny because it sounds really funny, control their own financial future. Let's jump into our really positive, probably not going to happen, but would be really cool if it did scenario. Now, this is going to be more fun because even after just 1 year with one share, you're getting almost $14, which is quite a jump from a little under $5. It's going to be fun. 100 shares going to bump us all the way up to already well over $1,300. It was at $500 initially. Let's go to 1,000. 1,000 gets you 13,000. Now we can't just jump all the way to 10,000. We're going to have to work our way up because we know we're going to be way, way over. So with 3,000, not 300, with 3,000, you're getting $40,000, almost $41,000. And now let's look again. This is crazy because you're getting $40,000 a year. Your initial investment only has to be a little over $100,000, a year and a half's worth of income for someone to get $40,000. And I know no one wants to live off of $40,000, but let's be real here. If I'm 70 and I'm in a nice retirement home and I already have, my Netflix account and my YouTube still works, I could live off of $40,000 a year. I wouldn't, go skydiving on the weekends, but I probably won't be doing that either way. So something to note. Now we can see 4,000 shares keeps bumping it up. We're almost to $55,000 in income, and still we're under $200,000. We're well under $200,000 invested. And here's what I want to ask you guys, viewers that are closer to retirement or are already in retirement, share some knowledge with us down below, please. I say we, it's just me in here, but I want to know what you guys think. Is it possible to see numbers like this with how investing has changed since you were younger or since you started investing? I'm really curious. Give us some advice. Here we go. Let me refine this. If you are at or near retirement, relatively close to it, or even if you're retiring early, what was the number one thing that made a big difference? Put it down below in the comments, please. I would really appreciate it. Help the younger generations out. We want to know, you guys are wise. You are living through this idea of retirement versus us, we're just speculating. So I want to know what you guys are thinking. Are you guys investing in funds like this that are income focused? Are you more growth? Let me know what you guys think. Do you have money in these just for fun? I'm just genuinely really curious. I want to know how the different age groups invest, because younger investors, we seem to be a lot more aggressive. And so the higher yield, the better. But I'm really curious how the near retirement and retirees feel about these funds, because they're very strange, I imagine. I mean, I've been investing for 8 years now, and it's just crazy that we've gone from quarterly to monthly to weekly to nearly an hour. What daily is coming? Are they going to live up to the hype? Are they going to be able to actually make us money? I don't know, but investing is changing as a whole, and I want to know what the older demographic of people that watch my channel, what you guys think. So still very cool. We're not quite to our numbers yet. Let's kick it back up. Let's go. Are we going to go all the way to 5,000? If we go all the way to 5,000, not quite there yet. 5,200. 5,200. No, we're going to need more than that. 5.5. This will do it. I have a feeling. 5,550. 5,555 shares, and we are there with some change. Now, again, this is the crazy difference. What did we go to? We were at near 600,000, 573,000 to 209,000. 210,000. So you're having what you have to retire. And so these numbers, again, let's throw it in here. So what was it? It was 7.6 years or something around there that we needed to retire. And now we're going to do 210 divided by our 75. That's actually crazy. So you can imagine if you're able to really put everything into an account, if you're willing to save as much money as possible, in what? 2.8. So you double it, 6 years living on half your income, you can retire. And that's the power of these absolutely insane dividend yields and distribution rates that we've seen for these new funds. This is all assumptive. There's a lot of risk that goes into these funds. You never know what the market's going to do. Even when it comes to the larger indices, they can still drop. So I just like running these numbers to see, what could be and what could happen. You guys know I'm a massive proponent of drip. And so drip on with these would make a massive difference as well. But still, I think these calculations are really, really important. And I want to know what you guys think in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed these calculations as much as I do. I know some of them are way up in the clouds, but it's cool putting all this stuff to the test and seeing how these are actually performing compared to each other, to other funds, to other types of investments. It really is fun, and I'm really, 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 really grateful that you guys like watching my content. As always, and again, comment down below. I'll do more in this series. For those of you that are interested, I may do a full video on every weekly dividend payer just so we can compare them. It'd be really cool to see which ones are doing the best. If you guys found this video useful, again, don't forget to like and subscribe, but you're also going to enjoy these videos that are popping up on your screen right now, especially the one that has a free giveaway where you can earn some extra money. Go ahead, watch those. Let me know what you guys think, and I hope to see you in the next video.